Today we're going to make either of these happy birthday cards. The sunflowers are interchangeable. You can add some glitter or sparkle to your sunflower centers to make it more fun. They are beautiful happy birthday cards for autumn birthdays. Stay with me and let's make them together. This birthday card doesn't actually have a back, so I want to use the card as my backing. But what I'm going to do is put the flower pots together, and then I can put the whole thing three-dimensionally onto my card. And today I'm going to use these Stampin' Dimensions. I guess it's Stampin' Up, but they're a little bit thinner pop dots. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my pots on. And I'm just going to put a pop dot on either corner. And all three pots are the same, so you don't have to worry about if you mess up the position. I always try to take my SVG cuts off of my machine in order so that I know where everything goes, but sometimes it gets lost in translation. Now I used a little bit of a textured paper for this. And I'm not going to pop dot this because then it'll look weird because the top of the pot will be behind it. But I am going to use my tape pen. Just tape those right in. This way the pot looks three-dimensional without it looking odd. I guess I could have, I'm just thinking about it, made this the base and then this the piece that went on, but sometimes I like working with bigger pieces too. Now I'm gonna put the pots into position because I want to put the sunflowers in three-dimensionally as well. So this is just gonna go in flat. And let's pop dot the flowers and then pop dot the centers. I left the words without a base to go in because I wanted to give you the freedom to put it where you might want. I just have it at the top in my file, so you can certainly follow that. Sometimes I like having the art as more flexible. You as the creator can change it up if you prefer. Oops. I didn't get it all the way on. There we go. And now I'm going to pop out the centers, and I do believe that because they're round, I can turn them upside down or right side up. It works both ways. Sweet. Now because I don't have a backing, I'm actually going to use the card that I cut out in the file. And I'm going to put this on. And then I'm going to determine, I believe that I'm going to come inside my frame with my happy birthday. So let's pop dot this frame. And I am going to use, I'm actually going to use these little squares. And And I'm going to do some corner work. I'm going to put one in each of these spaces so it doesn't settle down too far. Let's do one here. On the back of these. Maybe I do one right in the middle. Okay. I can always add a few more if I think it's not straight enough. Like if it's sagging some spot, then I'll actually add something. I don't like when the art sags, but the flower pots are a little bit heavy now because there's a couple of layers. If you're going to mail these, sometimes it's best to let the post office give you the price. It could be a regular stamp. Sometimes it's just a little bit over. And you don't have to add pop dots to this if you want to mail it and not worry about adding any extra weight. But typically, all of my cards can be made and mailed with one stamp. You'll find a plethora of cards and sticker sheets and print and cut cards in my design silhouette store. Also in my Etsy shop, I have other art. So you as the designer can leave it like that, or let's add happy birthday. And I also left this a little bit free floating because if you wanted to do this, say in the brown color, I think when I was designing it, I thought the brown looked too heavy. This way the flowers sort of keep moving forward. All right, I am going to use my tweezer. I'm going to use my Zig glue pen. That in first. I'm just going to eyeball it to the top, and I am going to put the birthday in because I want this space to be sort of similar to that, and then I'll add the bee. And I'm just gonna, again, eyeball the line up to the other word. Press down gently. And now let's add the bee. I think it would be fun if I had used textured paper on the green even. You could use a little leafy pattern paper. And there you have it. A beautiful happy birthday flower pot greeting card. Thank you so much for watching, and check out my other designs in the Design Silhouette store. You can like and subscribe here so you never miss a tutorial. And I also have christinebdigitalart.etsy.com. Thanks so much for watching. Hi, today we're gonna make this happy birthday wheelbarrow with sunflowers. Notice that the sunflowers can lay in, the larger ones on the top. And then I know that I have the space for the ones that are here, but nothing has to go in perfectly except the ones that are on the outside so that you can know what their position is. Also that the happy birthday has a position. So So the first thing I'm going to put down is this wheelbarrow, and I'm going to use my tape gun adhesive dots. I love these sticky tapes. You could always use a glue stick or a zig pen, and we'll use a zig pen for some of the smaller items. So that's my base. In the illustration, I have the wheels, and then the cart goes under it. So really what I want to do is I want to put the cart and the band, because I printed them all the same color, but I do want to pop dot them. I have some flat reflection pop dots, and of course they're on the other side of the room, so give me 1 second. So these pop dots are mostly used in scrapbooking because I don't want the wheelbarrow to be too high, but I don't want it to be flat either. So let's put the wheelbarrow on, and these are little honeycombs. And I'm going to put this band on, so I'm just going to cut actually down the edge here. As I say, you can use the whole sticky sheet. There's never any waste if you want to use the whole thing. And take that off, stick that right on here. It just gives it a little bit of height, even though it's not a lot. Now the wheelbarrow and the handle, I'm actually just going to glue down, so that's really going to glue down on top of the barrel part. It's too tiny to use any kind of dots, so I'm going to use my zig pen. I'm just going to put some dots of glue on the handle. So I'm going to put the wheel in position first, and then everything else will follow suit. Perfect. I'm also going to put my happy birthday on, and then I'm going to put the flowers in with the Zot dots, or the reflection dots. So again, it's all not too high, because whatever sunflowers are on the bottom, the ones that go over it, really need a double dot. I love the autumn colors and the somewhat cooler weather. I'm here in New Jersey, and it hasn't really been fall weather per se, but for October 1st, which is today, the weather was really beautiful this morning. I think actually 50 degrees. Okay, so now for my dragonfly, I am going to use my tweezers because it's a little bit on the tiny side. And I'm going to put it on first so that, again, if the sunflowers go over it, because they'll be 3D, it won't be in the way. Just pull that down for a second. And then you can see his body is very tiny. So I'm actually just going to put the glue here. Up. Just put him right down. Very sweet. Because Because if you have a birthday in the fall, sometimes you don't want the spring flowers on the front of your card. Okay, so I'm gonna lay these in position. And they have a little bit of the brown line around them. So let's pop dot these. And then I can pop dot the centers too. And because these aren't so thick, you know, they're a little thinner than your normal. These are the normal. And then there's also these pop dots, which are even fatter. I get them wherever I see them, that they're reasonably priced. Not that they're super expensive, but I do go through a lot of them. So I'm gonna put the last one on first so that they sort of go over each other, right to left. Now when I put these on the bottom, I really want them to hang over my bucket, so I'm really going to use 2. So just gonna stack them. Oh, I love the dimensional look. All right. And now my centers, there's 4 big ones and 1 small one, and these should also fit right into those centers because the little hexagon is not very large. Cute as that. If you have a burnisher pen or some glitter, you can certainly add that to the centers to make the centers of the sunflowers look more authentic with the little seeds. I actually make clay paintings with sunflowers, and I use a lot of beads and glitter. I'm actually doing a craft show in Marlton, New Jersey to sell my product. Now I had this extra, and I think originally it was gonna go here, but I'm not gonna do that now because I could have put this on first, 3-dimensionally, but I guess it wasn't in the cards. So there's the first birthday card for autumn.